give God praise and thank Him for another wonderful day at life. For this is truly the day that the Lord hath made. We shall rejoice and be glad therein. I'm going to take this opportunity to bless the Lord this morning before we get into our word today. Blessed be the Lord God of Israel, our Father forever and ever. For thine, O Lord, is the greatness and the power and the glory and the victory and the majesty. For all that is in the heaven and in the earth is thine. Thine is the kingdom, O Lord, and thou art exalted as head above all. Both riches and honor come of thee, and thou reignest over all. And in thine hand is power and might, and in thine hand it is to make great and to give strength unto all. Now therefore, our God, we thank thee and praise thy glorious name. We thank the Lord for being the King of glory, the Lord strong and mighty, the Lord mighty in battle. Today I want to talk to you about a study that I believe certainly should give us some greater awareness to the life that we live and the world that we live in and God's play in this world that we live in. The title of our study today is The Path We Choose. Whether we know it or not, we choose paths every day to live by, to survive by, to make it each day. We choose paths, hoping that our choices lead us to accomplishing the desired outcome or goal for that day. Path is also one of our Bible spelling words for this study. Path is defined by Webster as meaning a way of life, conduct, or thought. So it's a way of living, it's a way of conducting ourselves, or a way of thinking. A second definition for the word path is the way or track in which something moves or in which something will be encountered. And this, in effect, is kind of how life is. If you think about it as a roller coaster or a train, if you are on the train is moving in a particular way, a defined way. If you are in front of the train, it's the way in which you will encounter that train. It's the way in which that train will encounter you. So it's the same thing, but it's looking at it through the lens of two different perspectives. But the key is that what it does, it gives us insight to this notion of path. It is the way in which something moves or is encountered. And as we go through the day, we encounter things as we go on our way. If you've ever been looking for something, have you ever noticed that when you were looking for that something, you encounter things, other things, before you actually get to the thing you're looking for sometimes? Sometimes you might find something, oh, I didn't know that was there. Or you might find some things that might take you back in memory, might have you, nostalgically looking back in life. But those are things you encounter on the way, on the path to trying to achieve something. Path. I have a final definition for this word path. And I want to give you this one because this one is appropriate as it relates to technology today. This one applies to computing. This third and final definition for path is defined as a definition of the order in which an operating system or program searches for a file or executable program. You may or may not realize this, but every time that you search on the internet, this definition is being used. Searching for a file or an executable. You may call them a URL. You may see it as forward slashes, this forward slash that. But it's this definition. It's the order. When you look at those different things, those different naming conventions behind those slashes, it's the order in which the operating system or the program that's being used for searching is going to look for that file or that executable program. That executable program is an application, what you call or what is called an app. But the string to get to that app, which is the app is normally, or the executable program is normally the last thing in the string to get you to the page that you're trying to get to get you to the thing you're trying to reach. That's the executable. That's the app. That's what causes the thing you're looking for to occur. Every time you touch your smart device and send a request for something to happen, you might call it an icon that you touch. But in actuality, what's happening behind that touch is a path is being searched to go to that particular thing. And just as you would believe and understand, if you press on one icon that's purposed to go to one path, one particular location or one particular objective, then you can expect that by pressing on that same icon that it's going to go to another location for you as well. In other words, the path that has been predetermined to follow is a path that enables you to achieve a level of success. You may not look at your interaction with your smart device in that way, but I want you to understand it is a path. They're all paths. Every touch of that smart device, every icon on that smart device, it is a path to something. And just like in life, we do the same. We've been doing this, man has been doing this throughout its history. It's just that it's happening and being modeled in more ways than now today than it was before. Man has always had to choose a path every day that mankind lives. No matter what age, we must choose a path to live by. It's just that smart devices today enable people to choose many paths, and those paths lead to what the person has identified as their near-term goal. Whenever you pick up a smart device, it's a near-term goal that you're trying to achieve. I'm trying to reach this person. I'm trying to reach this. I'm trying to obtain this thing. I'm trying to buy this thing. But in all cases, what you're trying to do is to reach something. You're trying to achieve a goal. You're trying to achieve success. Have there been times when you tried to reach you typed in certain things or you clicked on certain applications and you didn't get the results that you want? Has that ever happened to you when you use a smart device?
Yes.
Yeah. And when it happens, are you surprised?
Yes.
Yeah, you know I'm not surprised because you've gotten so accustomed to when you're using it, believing and hoping that it's going to lead you to the goal, that you're going to be successful, that when you're not successful, it surprises you. So what's one of the first things that you do when you realize that you didn't achieve the goal? What's one of the first things that you think about?
Another way to achieve the goal.
You think about another way to achieve the goal. And what you start thinking about is, did I type it in right? Did they give me the right path? You don't call it path. But what you're basically saying, did they give me the right combination of information to get to the what? Goal. If you ever talk to someone on the phone and you've given them information, sometimes you may call places and they may ask for information for verification. And they may say, well, can I get your phone number? Can I get your account number? Can I get your email? Can I get this information? And you give it to them, they may say, well, no, I don't find anything. If you've ever been in that situation, does it surprise you when that happens? And if you know that you have that goal, that thing that that you gave them exists, does it surprise you that somebody doesn't find it? In most cases, it's going to surprise you unless you understand something more about the path, about what's happening. So one thing that you start doing in order to ensure that you achieve it, you'll regroup, you'll retry, you start verifying. What information did you have? And then the person calls back the information that they have, and you find out that the number sequence that you gave them, they reversed the number sequence, or they typed in the wrong number, or they typed in the wrong combination of words or letters. And of course, if you type in the wrong combination, since that path, what makes that path work is that it's a unique set of combination of letters and special characters. If that's what makes it work, that means it won't work unless you do it what? A certain way. And you have to be faithful about doing it a certain way in order to achieve results. You have to have a habit of doing it what? A certain way. You can't get to a website unless you have a habit of doing it a certain way. You can't get to an application unless you have a habit of doing it a certain way. You can't succeed in life unless you have a habit of living a certain way. It's a path that you choose. For us, it's the order in which we seek after or search for answers, search for success, search to achieve what we're interested in. That's what a path is. And every day, even before smart devices were in existence, even before technology existed, man still lived on a path, operated on a path, and made choices, chose paths. See, the path that we choose is critical to our survival. This idea can be clearly seen when playing a game. When I was growing up, there was a type of game that we used to go to the corner store to play. It's called a pinball machine. And a pinball machine would have all of these lights on it. But one thing that all these pinball machines have in common is a certain path in which the ball travels. And when you make the ball travel in a certain path, in a certain way, the more points you get. And that's signified by you causing the ball to hit certain things that cause more points to occur. And the more you learn how to cause the ball to hit certain things and cause that more points to occur, the more successful you become, the higher your score becomes. But it's about you learning how to put the ball on that path. And each time the ball would come, it would go into the field of play, and then the ball would go through these different things, and then it would come back toward the flippers, two devices that basically hit the ball back into the field of play. And depending on your skill, your skill for choosing the path that the ball should go in, that would determine whether or not you can actually hit the ball back into the field of play and cause more points to occur, or whether or not you would miss the ball altogether and lose your turn. And people who weren't skilled, you only have so many tries to do this. I think it was like 3 or 4 tries, or 4 or 5 tries, something like that, with the ball. And then after that, the game is over. But the point that I'm trying to make is that it depends upon your ability, how many points you get, how successful you are at the game, depends upon your ability to put the ball back in play, to choose the type of hit that enables the ball to go back into play. The same is true of checkers, of chess, even a Rubik cube, cards, video games. If you've ever played video games are the same way. You can't score or win a game just by doing anything. Your ability to choose the right path in order for you to score determines how many times and how often you can score, and it determines whether or not you can win. If you don't have the ability to choose the right path when you're playing the game, then you will get beat by the game, or you won't succeed in that game that you're playing, that video game. You only succeed because you learn to choose a certain path. It may be a certain angle that you have to have in order to achieve something. But the fact of the matter is that you have to choose a path that leads to success. And when you do that, those who are able to repeat that over and over and over again are the ones who win the highest, who win most of the time. They're the ones who achieve a higher level of success when they're playing games. Whether it is a video game, whether it is playing cards, spades, or whether it's playing, whether it's a Rubik's Cube, you learn how to get 2 colors on the right side. But then in order to get 3 colors on the right side, you have to display the discipline to know how to choose the path that enables you to get more colors on the right side. And the more you're able to consistently know how to do that, choose the right path, the more you are able to be successful. Chess, checkers, pinball, all these games, all are the same way. But the same is true with life. We choose paths every day. And just like in all of those games, stumbling blocks get in your path. If you're playing spades, you might play a card that you might think is a winning card. But the people on the other team might have a card that's higher than your card. Or they might have a card that can trump your card. A higher spade that can trump your card, that can cause them to win the book. Which means if you lose your path that you chose for that particular hand, you lost because you didn't have the path you chose, didn't enable you to succeed, to be the one who won that particular hand. So what you have to learn to do is to learn to sequence. You have to learn to choose the right path.
Oh, praise be to God, from whom all blessings flow. It is our prayer at Clay Family Ministries that your life has been increased with the increase of God through this study. We appreciate and are thankful for your fellowship during this life skills study segment.